Hey everybody, I think everybody knows everybody, so we will skip introduction this time. And we have two topics on the agenda. I would like to jump on, get to them. So the first topic, Craig, thank you for joining. I know you had some challenge with contribution, the signing the commits and I think it's PGP stuff. So I want to kind of follow up on that. I know Jenny and Ian were also looking into that. Kind of I want to bring up together, see if we kind of will resolve that, or is there any outstanding related to that?
So I think Jenny solved the problem. So what she put in a Slack thread that there was something added by
There was somebody, I think Nathan might have added a rule set that accidentally enabled the check for verified signatures on commits. So I just undid that checkbox for now since we haven't been requiring that. But then that brought up a question of, do we want to require signed commits? Like we do require DCO, which is different, sign off, but we don't require like signed, like GPG key signed commits.
Yeah, my preference is not, because I'm really worried about raising contribution bar. And to my best knowledge, Ian, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe Istio had like the signed commits requirement. I don't think Istio had the PGP requirements. So for a small project like kgateway, I would like to be as simple as possible.
Yeah, Istio doesn't require it, and I think most sort of large old projects do not require it, just for historic reasons. I mean, I'm pretty strongly in favor of it personally, but the community has kind of spoken that we don't want to require that. So yeah, I support Jenny's decision to remove that check. That was probably a mistake to add.
Okay, cool. Anybody else have an opinion before we draw a conclusion?
We don't also have to close it. Ben Leggett opened an issue to track why he thinks that we should have this as a new project. So if you have feelings but you don't want to speak up, you can go find that issue in the kgateway community and comment there and let us know what you think.
I like that. Thank you, Ian. Okay, so for now, let's just make it simple. And Craig, I appreciate you raising this issue. It's funny, when you raised the issue at the same time, one of the other contributors also raised the same issue. So I'm glad we were able to, get to a conclusion for you at the moment. So let's go with that for now. The next topic, I asked Eitan to kind of give us a MCP gateway in kgateway update. Personally, this is something I'm very interested in. You all know that Solo announced, I shouldn't say MCP gateway, Solo announced the new agent gateway last week. I think it was last Thursday, right? So I've gotten a lot of questions on this new agent gateway, how it's going to impact the MCP gateway in kgateway. My limited understanding is the MCP gateway in kgateway is going to be refreshed to use the new agent gateway we just announced, and it's going to be integrated seamlessly in kgateway. So if you're a kgateway user, you are exploring MCP gateway, don't panic. We will have agent bring the agent gateway to you. Eitan, I think you're trying to weigh in, so I'll let you take the mic.
Oh, no, I haven't said anything yet.
Maybe it was somebody else. Sorry. Go ahead, whoever was trying to weigh in.
It's Yuval here. So basically, MCP gateway evolves, and as it evolves, it's actually doing more than MCP. So we're gonna change the name just to reflect that. Call it Agent Gateway. It will kind of evolve to do all sorts of AI-related data plane things. It will stand on its own if you have a simple use case. But if you want to run it in Kubernetes, kgateway we plan to be the control plane. So that's kind of the idea there.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean it's interesting. So, Craig, I know you tried to go and build the code and you figured it out. You passed the test. You figured out that you needed the UI. That's also a feature flag. You can disable that feature flag, but yeah. So I think there's a bit of nuance that you might appreciate. But Dan, you ask your question and then I'll yeah go back to that point.
Yeah, Yuval, you mentioned that a gateway would be the control plane for agent gateway in a Kubernetes environment. And pardon my ignorance with agent gateway. I'm still fairly new to me. What would be the control plane outside of a Kubernetes environment and outside of kgateway?
The YAML file, no control plane.
Well, yeah. So no direct control plane. I think right now it's just it's a YAML file. So it's local to your machine. You spin it up, it does exactly what it says on the tin. Now there is a bit of a caveat to that. Because I'll give two caveats. One, there's actually a UI that you can use to control it and test out the endpoints and the configuration. So that can dynamically change the configuration for that instance and only that instance. So it's fairly limited in its scope. It's really meant as a way to get started right now. Now we have larger plans for it, but right now it's really just a way that you can spin up the proxy with zero config and sort of get started with or the gateway with zero config and get started with it. But in fact, Craig, it seems like you are more on the Kubernetes side, but I think we're also interested in speaking to people in the community who are wanting to run locally or outside of Kubernetes and seeing what a production strategy would look like for them. Because we are obviously, we're Kubernetes, like that's our native language now. And so I think that we're very interested in hearing from people in terms of what they're looking for there besides static configuration.
Can I ask a quick question? What about the admin API for the agent gateway? Can I think of that also a easy way to program the control?
What about the what?
The admin API for
No.
the agent gateway.
So the admin API is so there will always be the agent gateway will always have an admin API similar to a product like Envoy, for instance, where you can you can view the live config. But when you're running, in like Kubernetes, you're not going to use the UI you're not going to use the API that's exposed there directly, right? Because the gateway can run in two modes. It can either run in XDS mode or in local mode, or what we call kind of static mode, but really it's more of a local mode. And so in XDS mode, it can't receive any updates from the UI, only from the XDS server. And so so that's sort of the breakdown is when it's, and to be fair, it actually doesn't need to run in Kubernetes to be run in XDS mode, right? You could serve it XDS from anywhere in any environment, right? The fact that it's XDS is an implementation detail, and I've always joked that the sort of Envoy's, one of the things I love so much about Envoy is XDS, and it's zTunnel uses it, this new proxy uses it, Envoy uses it. We use it for various data plane components in kgateway, like the XOT server. I think. Wait, Yuval, does the XOT I don't know about in kgateway, but in Glue. So we're anyway. So but the idea is that technically you could bring your own XDS server to run this thing dynamically, right? There's nothing stopping you. And there's really good open source examples of XDS servers as well. So that's, we want to, but really, like I said, I think we're looking to sort of see where people want to take it. We have our own vision, but we also are very curious.
Yeah, makes sense. So in the case of kgateway, if it's in Kubernetes environment, kgateway is the XDS server for
Yes.
the new agent gateway. Okay.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I can
Anyone
give a quick demo if
questions?
people are interested.
All right. I think people would love to see the demo. I didn't expect
Oh,
you to give a demo.
geez.
So shout
I
out
didn't
to you.
either. It's live. This is fully live. All right. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna try and do something fun because oh wait, it's actually yeah, okay. So what I'm gonna do is wait, let me see if I have Node on my local machine, specifically on my Mac. Because if I do, then 1 second. If I do, then this would be an even cooler demo. So all right. Because I know Danny and you ran into a similar issue. So yeah, all right, let's try this. So okay, so what I'm gonna do, yeah, no, npx, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna share my screen. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to share my terminal, and then I will share my browser afterward. But the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my this one. Wait. How do I share specific windows? Google, why you do this? Does anyone know how to share a specific window?
Yeah, I think if you click on the specific window, then
Oh, I see. There we go. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do, I have this terminal. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install the gateway. And to do that, I'm just going to run this little install script that we have. And so what this is going to do is it's going to go get the latest version of the gateway. So I'm going to run that. And you see the latest version here is 0424, which was just released today. So it's going to go ahead and pull that in the background. I think my internet might just kind of suck because all these operations are just taking a second. So let's go ahead and give that a second to just start. Oh no. All right. Let's cool. All right. So that's been installed. So now if I do agent gateway dash version, don't look at that number. I know the bug there. It has to do with the cargo toml. Anyway, so it has to do with clap. Whatever. I know the bug there. Anyway, so the version here is 0424. I promise. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and run this. And so you're gonna see here that the first thing it's gonna do is it's gonna say, okay, I'm gonna create a config directory here. And then because I don't have a config found in my cache directory, it's gonna create one. So now what you'll see is it's gone ahead and created that. Now it's not gonna live update it, but so now that our gateway is running, we can go check out the UI. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to share a new window. Okay, so I'm going to stop presenting this. And instead I'm going to share this. And I'm going to go to localhost 19,000. What's your problem? Let's see. I wonder if it's this. Oh, wow. Oh, interesting. Okay. I think there might be two things bound there. Let me restart the, yes. Okay. So what we'll see here when we first start up is that we have a startup wizard. So Peter on our team is amazing at building UIs. And so again, because we have no config, I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So I'm interested in running this in MTP mode. So I'm going to create my listeners. I'm going to bind on all addresses. It could be 127, it could be IPv6. Doesn't matter. I'm going to use 5555. And then we're going to name this target everything. And then we're going to use an stdio target. And this is exactly what we're going to use. We're going to use model context protocol, MCP server, everything. And so let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to, I guess, find, yeah, it's right here. So let me just add that. And I have advanced settings. So for example, I can add environment variables, etc. For SSE, this is useful for authentication and stuff like that. So let's finish that setup. Cool. So now, as you can see here, I've got two things. I've got one listener. That's good. That's a good start. Why is that happening? Oh, there we go. Okay, I needed to reload. I'll log that bug. But it's okay. So we've got one listener here, and so we can see this is our default listener. It's an MCP listener. It's listening on 5555. I don't know how many fives, and it has one target. Currently, there is no JOT authentication, there's no TLS, and there are no policies. So the first thing I'm going to do is, and then there's the targets. So we have our default target, everything. And so now I'm going to go to the playground and I'm going to test this target. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my local host MCP server, and it's going to connect. Now, when it connects, what's going to happen is in the background, it's going to go ahead and actually download the everything server and run it. Cool. So we've connected. Good stuff. So now, again, this is a live demo. So now I have all of my everything tools. So this is just like basically a test MCP server to try out everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add two numbers. Okay, so I'm going to add 1 and 3, and my tool is going to come back with 4. Great. That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. So now, again, you can use any of these. So, let's echo back some input. Hello. Hello. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a policy. I can do that through the listener configuration, apparently. Thank you, Peter. And let's see, enable. Oh, I first have to add JOT. That makes sense. I don't have any of those settings locally. Give me 1 second. I might have. All right, let me add JOT authentication first. So this makes sense. In order to add JOT authentication, you need to have a JOT, all right, a private key and a public key. So in this case, we're going to use kind of a made up one. So I'm going to look in my RBAC example that I have locally, and I'm going to say that the issuer in this case is me. The audience is also me, and then I'm going to use a local path for my JSON web key. So my JSON web key is going to be 1 second. In here, the public key. I'm just gonna cat that out into a vim pub.json. I do most of my development lately on my Linux box, so this is it's just it's interesting for me. Okay, so I'm gonna do this /pubkey.json. So now I've added JOT authentication to my listener. I hope it rebound. It did. It successfully rebound. Great. So now if I try and run, if I try and connect, it's not going to let me. I don't have my bearer token. So let me go get my bearer token. My bearer token is, I believe, let me just get that really quick. Bum, 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 bum. Here's a bearer token. So I'm going to copy this bearer token. Very, very private. Don't let anyone see it. So we're going to copy our bearer token. Oh, hold on. Let me just refresh this really quick. Is that bearer token not correct? Hold on 1 second. Oh, no way. No. Okay, that's not good. This should be the correct. Hold on. Okay, well, that's unfortunate. So as I said, this was going to be a live demo, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's working.
We do have steps on the website if anybody wants to follow along. I think I've done it once. Where
Yeah,
the,
no, it definitely works. I just think I don't know that this what's it called? This particular
maybe you draw it and your bell token doesn't match.
yeah, exactly. I think it's something like that. So I'm gonna give up on this. I don't think it's worth taking up too much time on this. But essentially, right, this I think gives you the idea of what's possible.
So can you talk about agent gateway with kgateway? Because I've run this myself. What you have shown, I think it's great. It's really helped me understand agent gateway by itself, particularly use static file and YAML. Right? In your case, you didn't fit into any YAML, so basically it's using whatever the default YAML it is. Now, as user, I'm not going to do I'm not going to do static configuration or manual configuration most of the time, especially if I'm running in Kubernetes. So how do I use kgateway to program the agent gateway? I would say it's agent proxy in that context. Is that coming to kgateway? I assume maybe not yet, or it's already there.
I'll leave that to Yuval. Yuval, do you wanna give that a go?
So could you repeat the question?
So the question is
yeah.
the integration of agent gateway or agent proxy with kgateway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How would that work?
Yeah.
Is that already exist or that's coming?
That exists in a draft PR, but with all it's basically the MCP gateways are rapidly evolving. So, we're in the process of updating it. It'll probably take a minute. But it's not yet in. We have a doc in the kgateway docs showing how you could play around with it with the release, not exactly an official release, but kind of a one-off release we did for KubeCon. So if people want to mess around with it, they can. And if they want to wait for a more official release, it should get merged in the next few weeks.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for that context. I've used the MCP gateway before. I was just curious the status with the agent gateway.
Yeah, so to be more specific, we have a bunch of open questions we're debating internally on how the API should look like. How, basically MCP is a protocol with self-discovery, and that usually works less well in enterprise environments. So we're kind of trying to think about all these edge cases before we merge it into kgateway.
Got it. So I'm going to take a notes there. Does anyone have any other questions on this topic? All right. Thank you, Aiton, for that great demo.
Sorry, it didn't pan out.
If folks are interested in exploring that, so check out I believe it's the agentgateway.dev, right? The agentgateway.dev has everything. I can go there quickly. It has all the steps you were trying to go through. So if anyone interested in that, we do have docs on what Aiton was trying to do, all on the website. I think it's under security. Yeah, set up access, either authentication or access control and tools. So if there's any interest on that, With that, I think we're going to wrap up the meeting. A gentle reminder, next Tuesday, we're going to have Nina talk about AI Gateway update. If you have any topics you are interested, you want to learn in kgateway, do let me know. If you want to present, we would love to hear from you. And if you're building anything cool with kgateway, we'd love to hear that too. All right. Thanks everybody for joining. See you next week. Bye.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.